Guys, welcome back. We have a lot to go over in today's episode. This is actually going to be a first episode of mine where I go over the market and I give you guys a couple different ideas, what I'm seeing, and we're just going to go over a couple things. I'm going to try and do these as frequently as possible. So let's get stuck right into it. You don't want to miss it today, guys. We've got some key stocks to go over. We've got some key breakouts to look at that you guys are going to find really interesting, and hopefully you guys can find some value out of. We've got some key potential breakouts. We have got some key stocks at some key support levels. We have also got, we're going to be looking at our gamma levels. We're going to be looking at massive, huge trades that have been coming in from Wall Street. We are also going to be looking at that on multiple different stocks, ones that I find are incredibly important. And we got a little tech dev chart to dive into about Bitcoin as well afterwards. So without further ado, let's get stuck straight into the charts and what I am seeing right now. So one massive potential investment opportunity that I am seeing right now is AMD. By the way, guys, I am sick. As always, you guys in my group know that I just get sick 24/7, so I'm sorry, but you're going to have to deal with it. So, what we're looking at right now is an AMD chart on the daily. And if I just zoom in here, you can see that we're actually right now at this huge key demand right here. All the way that this was formed back on November the 10th of 23, okay? So, just over a year ago, this zone was formed, but you can see we are getting some sort of reaction off it. Now, what I'm looking at on the chart here is I'm actually seeing a bullish divergence starting to form. There could be a potential bottom starting to form here. And what I mean by that is what you can see is we've got a lower low here on the price, and we've got a higher low. Oh, this is a bit broken. This is a bit faulty. And we've got a higher low on the RSI. So you can see how this is lower and this is higher, and it's the same with the MACD. The MACD was super red momentum, and now it's not. It's actually even on this low, it only turned red a little bit. So we are starting to see a divergence. We're starting to see this selling pressure is starting to evaporate on AMD. Obviously, this can certainly come lower, and this can invalidate. But right now, as it stands, I think AMD is due for a little bit of retrieval. So what have I been doing on AMD? Well, you guys in the group know that I've been selling puts, and I have been selling puts quite aggressively. So if I actually bring up my AMD profit tracker right now, I can show you guys exactly what I mean. Sorry, I see it open up Google. AMD wheel. So here's our AMD wheel. So basically, as you can see, what we did is we actually sold the 125, 120 put credit spread to start off with, but then I closed out the 120 buy side, and I closed that for almost $900 profit. Then yesterday, I actually closed the put side for 948 of a loss, and then I rolled it down to the 124, and I collected even more credit. So now if we can get the 124 to expire worthless on the 31st, you can see that we will be sitting at 1,000. Oh, let me zoom this in for you guys. $1,322 profit on this position, which will have been absolutely amazing. So as AMD can have a little bit of a bounce, I will have this waiting for me, and that will be very nice. Now, what is it sitting at right now? Without extrinsic value, because this automatically works out the contract value through this formula, I'm sitting at $210 profit. If AMD right now stays at 118.4 at expiration, I will make $210. As you can see, I also have another put credit spread open. If the 110 gets, or the 105 gets breached, I'll close this for profit, and then I'll wheel the shares. So this is how I'm going to bring this break even right down very low, especially if I have to take assignment of the 110. This will obviously drop this break even more as well, plus the profit of whatever I can close the 105 out for. And I would only consider wheeling if I can close the 105 out for decent profit. So that's that. So yes, amazing opportunity here, guys. If you're not actually in yet, you could probably be selling some puts at, let me see, just before earnings, 2 weeks out, you could actually sell the 110 put right now alone for about $79-80, and that's going to put you in right at this here key level here, right at this here key bounce level. So I really like that, guys. Anyway, we're going to get into the crypto markets here a little bit. I want to have a look at Bitcoin with you guys. As you can see, we are breaking out. Bitcoin is breaking out. This is a wedge on the daily chart. Everything is looking fantastic. If I put on the script or my indicator, you can see we are coming right up here to this key zone, this key rejection zone. The candle right now is in it. The wick has wicked out of the strongest part, but that's fine. We've no candle close yet. We're still doing our 16 hours on this. If we can get a daily candle close above this zone, I think we're off to the races, guys. I think a new all-time high is coming, but until then, we've got to act cautiously and just watch what happens here. Preferably around the market open today, we're probably going to see some sort of move. If I add in the Bollinger Bands and I add in the EMAs, you can see all of our EMAs are nice and bullish. We're above the 50 EMA, the 5 and the 13 are cross bullish, and we are just off to the races. RSI over 50, MACD starting to push green. This looks fantastic. Bitcoin itself looks absolutely unbelievable. Now, if I go straight back, and I'm going to show you some other stuff about Bitcoin, let's straight away get into some of the flows. So this is the MicroStrategy stock. As you can see on the MicroStrategy stock, we have seen the 6th ever largest transaction come in. So Wall Street are clearly active right now on MicroStrategy. What are they doing? It's very hard to sell, or very hard to notice or determine. But what we can see is 6th largest transaction right here. It came in yesterday at 2.83 million shares. So $1.02 billion worth of MicroStrategy was traded in this one transaction. Was it a buy? Was it a sell? My guess is it's probably a buy, to be honest with you. You know, we came off these lows. We sort of pushed up higher. It's more than likely a buy, considering the Bitcoin's breaking out and how bullish the market looks at the minute. But again, I could be wrong, so take this with a pinch of salt. But it is very active right now, so keep that in mind. And if we come back to the crypto markets, let's see what else is moving. We have Ethereum, and Ethereum has been pretty much doing a whole load of nothing. We are still waiting on this to break out on the daily. We are still quite a ways away from a breakout here. You can see that this is sort of what we're watching. If you want to include the wicks, we're watching a wedge like that. If you don't really want to include the wicks, you could probably draw it a little bit more. You could probably draw it a little bit more like this. Either way, we're nowhere near the Ethereum breakout yet. Altcoin season should in theory be here between now and March. Now and April. This is usually the time on the year after the halving where altcoins tend to really perform very well. So we've got to keep an eye on this. Okay, guys, let's head straight over to SPX on the stock market. And this is obviously the S&P 500 index. Now let's have a look at this. You can see we again are trading in another one of these channels. Price gapped up to near the top. I think we're probably going to get a touch of this upwards trend line here very soon. If I snip right over to QQQ, you can see that it actually pretty much did touch it. Depending on what way you draw it, you could probably draw it like that and say that it did touch the top of the trend line. So again, we're watching here what's happening. You can see on this bottoming candle, we did jump right into this demand zone perfectly and then instantly straight up. So are we going to start to consolidate above these moving averages and curl over before we start to have a breakout again? It's very hard to say, but it's just a matter of time before it goes up, guys. We all know this. It's just a matter of time. Now, let me just get straight into Tesla. You can see Tesla had a very bad day yesterday. Well, I wouldn't say very bad day, but the day before, we came down, we found the bottom the previous days on our demand zone. It straight away bounced, and we didn't quite get to the 50 EMA, but it bounced right above the 5 and the 13, flipped bullish again, and now RSI is above 50. We are confirmed bullish in this. We've pulled back. This is actually a pretty good entry point, to be honest, guys. We've pulled back to these EMAs. It's a pretty good entry point to try and play a reversal and play it back up. I do think 500 a share is still on the cards for this year. that is why I do have quite a heavy position in Tesla, but that is for another video. I'm going to break down my whole Tesla position in another video for you guys. Anything else I think we should take a little look at? Let's look at the dollar index. And let's let my indicator load. Okay, so what you guys can see is the dollar has been on a magnificent run, which has been putting some pressure on a lot of different assets recently. You can see that we have a huge supply zone right here, and you can see that the dollar touched it and instantly started finding some harsh rejections from here. So this could be the top. This could well be the top for the dollar, although there's probably some good key levels up here. You know, the top may likely be a bit higher up around here, but again, this is a potential topping point. If we can start to see this really start to round and just have that correction to the downside, we can really start to see assets are going to push quite heavily. We're probably going to see the VIX drop. The VIX right now, it has actually kind of dropped. We were seeing these spikes up into the 20s, and you guys knew I was taking full action whenever it was spiking up into the 20s. I was selling the 112 strategy on MES, selling some naked puts on MES too, and as the volatility dropped, we got that premium crush, and we smashed those trades, guys. And remember, hop over to the Discord where I post all of my trades if you want to see any of these live. We have made a killing so far this year. As you can see on the broker, we are up $5,300 on this particular account, the one I track with you guys, which is absolutely fantastic. We have a little look at IBIT, speaking of the crypto markets. I think, again, it's a matter of time before IBIT is right up here at the previous all-time high. That is not going to take very long whatsoever. Okay, let's also jump straight into our gamma levels for the day. So you 0 day to expiration traders can see what I'm talking about. So here's our gamma levels. And what this is actually telling us, if I just zoom in a little bit. Oh, well, let me zoom in. If I zoom in like this. Oh, I don't know what I've just done there. Sorry, guys. Okay, so what you can see here, guys, is we are actually in negative gamma right now. The momentum is neutral. So what we can see is our call resistance is on. So sorry, that's the all expirations. So for today, our call resistance is coming in at 5910, and our put resistance, our put support is coming in at 5900. Okay, so it's going to be a very tight range today. So if I can actually grab this for you guys, and I'll paste this into a new chart. Sorry, guys. Okay, so here is our 0 DT levels for our gamma and our GEX. So what we can see is price right now is sitting at 5937. You can see if I just zoom out here to all the names. So our call gamma wall right now is coming in at, or I think that's okay. So here's our put support. Our put support right now for today is coming in at 5900 basically on the button, and you can see the call resistance is all the way up at 5200 for the weekly. You can see our 1 day max move is probably going to come in here at 5981. There's a lot of stuff to look at here, but there is those levels if anyone is interested. Some more huge transactions, guys, we can see on the Russell 1000 value ETF. You can see the second largest transaction ever has hit the tape. Now, what do I think this is? I could probably say with pretty large certainty this is a buy. You know, we've come down from this huge pullback. We can see price is in the bouncing position. We have had this huge gap up, and the second largest transaction has ever came in, and that came in yesterday, and that was 4.8 million shares, or $925 million worth in this transaction. I think this is a buy. We'll probably find out in the next couple of days where the price goes based off this, but this is something to look out for. Nvidia, or NVDL, the leverage play, we can see that at this low, you can see there was the second largest trade ever that hit on December 18th at this low, and you can see at these lows again, the 9th largest and the 6th largest have come in at the tape. So you can see that there is something going on around these prices. Someone thinks Nvidia is going somewhere. You can see that it was the 6th largest and the 9th largest. So we can see the 6th largest came in on these were both on the 13th actually, and they were both for about 350,000 shares each. So a huge play here from someone on Wall Street. Someone is betting on some serious upside or some serious potential. If we come in here and have a look at the largest trades of the day as well, you can see Nvidia. Nvidia had a very large trade. If I just bring this back to, we'll go a week back. Okay, you can see the 70th largest trade ever on Nvidia just hit. You can see that this one was for 16.9 million shares, or $2.26 billion, guys. Crazy the money that is getting played with here. But anyway, you can see this came in at these lows. I think it's a buy. I'm going to say it straight up right now. I think this is a buy. I think someone has bought in Wall Street. An institution has bought $2.26 billion of Nvidia. We'll find out shortly. I think this is probably going to push the price up quite higher. And if we come straight in, let's actually look at the Nvidia levels and see what we're seeing on the GEX for the options. Let's see what is showing up here for us. If this would work, it'd be greatly appreciated. Click it over here. Okay guys, so here's what we're watching for Nvidia. We have our call resistance at 135 and our put support at 130, and that's for today's expiration. Okay, so for today's expiration on Nvidia, we are going to be looking, let me turn this off, 130. Okay, which kind of makes sense, guys. It's all adding up on the chart, and this is what I like to see. I like to see confidence. Okay, I like to see confidence. So what we can see on Nvidia is we have a key level right here. There's our 130 zone, and you can see it is a key level. You've got these highs, this low. You find in a low around here, you've got this low as well. So this is where the options think Nvidia is not going lower than today. And if then I get this back up, our call resistance is at 135. So the options market is not pricing in Nvidia to go higher than 135. Which is right here. Okay, it's not as of a key level. So this here, to me, the put side is going to have a lot more value to us than the call side today. Okay, and then if I get back this again, let's check for all expirations. So for all expirations, you can see Nvidia wants 140. We have a huge call wall here at 140. Nvidia wants 140. Where is 140 on the chart? Well, 140 is right here. And that is where it wants. I think 140 is going to act as a magnet. And if we can really start to push past 140, we're really going to sort of see that positive gamma squeeze, and I think, you know, Nvidia is going to be off to the races, and an all-time high should set in after that. If I just put on all my indicators quickly, we should be able to see what the condition of this looks like. Well, you can see the RSI is below 50. We're right now below all EMAs. They've crossed bearish. It is technically not looking good, but I do think, based on the gamma and based on the direction of where the options want this to go and this huge demand zone, it could be a possible long here, especially with the transactions coming through the door as well. If we take out this low, I will flip bearish. If we take out this low, but until then, I'm pretty neutral. I've got puts sold on Nvidia. I called them out to the group. We have been absolutely printing on these over this whole chop period. We have been absolutely milking it, and it has been fantastic. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. This might have been a bit of a longer one. I want to try and perfect these and get into a rhythm with them. And once I find that rhythm, I'm sure these videos will get a lot more entertaining and a lot better. But until then, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.